Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Rachel Paul. Today we are going to be talking about how to lose weight without exercise or dieting. So we're going to talk about movement, we're going to be talking about foods to focus on, and we're also going to be talking about overall health, of course. Okay, let's get started. Alright, tip number one is to recognize that exercise actually plays a small role in weight loss. So that's really good news, right? We're talking about weight loss tips without exercise, and the great news here is that the research shows exercise is not important for weight loss. So have you ever thought to yourself, oh, I'm gonna go do this exercise, so I need to make sure I eat enough to be able to have enough energy to exercise, right? Or have you ever thought to yourself, oh, I just exercised, so I deserve an extra snack, I deserve an extra dessert, right? And eating this way can really negate the calories burned from exercise. So it's important to not be doing this high intensity exercise to burn calories to lose weight. It just actually doesn't serve you. All right, let's talk about tip number two. So tip number two is to include movement in your day-to-day life. So I have a story for you. When I was in high school, I ran track during the winter season, and we would have 2-a-day exercise practices, right? We would wake up at 4:30 a.m. to start running at 5 a.m. and then we would also have practice after school. And the issue is we weren't even good. We weren't even a good track team, but we still exercised 2 times a day. And here's the thing, I was starving all of the time because we were doing so much exercise. So what I would like for you to do instead, because being hungry is not a good thing when you're losing weight at all, what I would like for you to do instead is to include movement in your day-to-day life, so that you're not having to take extra time out of your day to go to the gym, because it's just not even going to serve you in terms of weight loss, okay? So a great thing to do is to include more walking. So can you, for example, can you walk to the grocery store instead of driving? If it's in, a walkable distance. Can you take the stairs instead of the elevator if you live in an apartment building? That type of thing. How can you include more movement into your day-to-day life? All right, let's talk about tip number 3. Tip number 3 is to prioritize overall health. So what I would love for you to do is really prioritize your sleep and your stress. So for sleep, we need 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. If we are tired, our bodies don't know the difference between hunger in order to stay awake versus actual hunger. So you just naturally end up overeating. So if you have to wake up at 7 a.m., be sure to go to bed at least by 11 so you get that full 8 hours of sleep so you can make good decisions the next day. And then for relaxation, if you are feeling extra stressed, if you have something going on in your life, can you talk to a professional? Can you talk to a therapist? Can you call your mom? Can you talk with a friend? It's very important to get extra things off your plate so you can prioritize your mental health. All right, let's talk about the next tip. Tip number 4 is to get out of the restriction mindset. Now, when I was going through my weight loss journey, I was under the impression that I would have to cut out all dessert, I would never have dessert again, I could never have high fat, high calorie foods again, and that is just not true. What I would love for you to do is get out of that restriction mindset and instead think to yourself, I am creating a structure that includes all of my favorite foods that is going to be the right structure for me. All right, so for example, what I like to do is create a structure specifically for the higher carb foods that I like to eat. So starches, fruits, dessert, and alcohol. So if you like to have dessert every day, as do I, just plan for it, it's not a problem. If you like to have alcohol, if you're over 21, 2 or 3 times a week or more, you get to decide the right structure for you, of course in a healthy way, right? All right, let's talk about tip number 5. Tip number 5 is to only change what you can change forever. So when I was in college, we would do this crazy diet called the General Motors diet, which was like on the first day you ate only vegetables, and then on the second day you could eat fruits and vegetables, and then on the third day you could eat ground beef and tomatoes. I mean, things that make no sense, right? And that are not sustainable in any way for the long term. You really want to build lifelong habits. So how I recommend starting is if you want to track, which can be a great way to determine portions that are right for your body. Select the option in your app, like I like the Lose It app, for the 1/2 pound loss per week, which is in a 250 calorie deficit. This way, you're still eating a lot of food that are in good portions right for your body, and you're creating those long-term habit changes. So like we just talked about, I recommend creating a structure for your higher carb foods. So starches, fruits, dessert, and alcohol. So if you like to have dessert, figure out the right portion for you based on tracking. A great thing to do is to track ahead of time so that you're not surprised. If you like to have a glass of wine on a Friday night, it's totally fine. Just track it and move on. All right, let's talk about the next tip. Tip number 6 is to eat a lot of protein. Now, when I was in college, it was kind of the hype of the high fiber craze. So I remember we would eat a ton of Fiber One bars and a ton of high fiber cereal. And while fiber is very good, what's actually the most filling macronutrient is protein. So it is important to get protein at least most, if not all, of your meals and snacks. So I like to have protein at my lunch and dinner in what's called that formula. So my formula is 2 or more cups of non-starchy vegetables, 4 to 5 ounces of protein. That's like a normal serving of protein. It's about 150 calories, and then 100 to 200 calories of fats. You can make a 3-ingredient, really easy meal using this formula. Now, some good staple groceries to get, some good high protein staple groceries to get are eggs, cans of tuna. You can get some salmon fillets. You can get frozen fish as well. That's a great, easy protein source. Ground beef, chicken, tenders. Those are great protein sources you can always quickly make on the stovetop. You can put hard-boiled eggs for breakfast. What's great is actually hard-boiled eggs last for a whole week. So if you hard-boil them on Sunday, you can have them throughout the week for an easy breakfast or snack. All right, let's talk about the next tip. Tip number 7 is to find a supportive community. Now, I always need a community with me for whatever my goals are. So my goals aren't weight loss anymore. My goals right now are related to business. So I surround myself with other entrepreneurs. But for you, what's really important is to surround yourself with people that are going to encourage you on your weight loss journey. So for example, we have our wonderful Best Body community that I would love for you to check out. It's the link in my bio, which you can check out anytime as well. What's great about having a supportive community is 2 things. Number 1, they provide that accountability, right? And then number 2, they can help you think of your situation in a different way and can give you ideas for whenever you're stuck. All right, let's talk about the next tip. Tip number 8 is to ditch the all or nothing mentality. Now, you might be drawn to some crash diets because they seem like they will give you the weight loss you want in a really quick time frame. But unfortunately, as I'm sure you've realized at this point, those just don't work. That kind of black and white thinking where you're only able to eat these 10 foods until you lose the weight, it's just not sustainable. What we have to do now is learn how to moderate so that you develop that skill that you'll have for the rest of your life. So for example, what I love to do is create my salads with chicken nuggets. It's a little more exciting. That chicken is a little more exciting than plain grilled chicken, but I'm still eating a lot of vegetables, a lot of great healthy foods. Or for example, if you love cookies, what you can do is you can create a snack or a dessert with different foods that are gonna keep you full, right? So for here example, I have a pear, some peanut butter, and 2 cookies. If I'm having that for a snack, I'll be much more full. It'll keep me until dinner. All right, let's talk about tip 9. Tip number 9 is to learn your hunger and fullness cues. Now, when I was on my weight loss journey, I was really afraid to stop eating when I was full because it felt like this was the only time I was allowed to eat this food. But here I'm gonna tell you, you can eat any food that you want to, right? This is your life. You can make room in your way of eating that includes any food that you want. No food is good or bad. No food is not allowed, right? All food is sustenance, and you can make a plan that suits you. Now, what I'd like for you to do is think about the hunger scale and your hunger and fullness cues on that hunger scale. So the hunger scale goes from 1 to 10, where 1 is starving and 10 is super, super stuffed. I would like you to stay in the 3 to 7 range. So eat when you're at about the 3 to 4, and then stop eating when you're at the 7. Remember, you can always eat that food again, right? No food is ever off limits or a bad food. All right, everyone, those are my top tips to lose weight without dieting and exercise. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like this video, hit subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you're notified of the next video, and I can't wait to see you next time.